Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with another Path of Exile of YouTube video. In this video, we're going to start a little bit of a sequence or series, if you will, where I'm going to take direct examples of how to craft certain items, and I'm going to show you one item per video. And I'm going to basically take one item and describe the different approaches of how to craft it and what you can do with it, the different aspects to it, and all of that shit. So without wasting time in this video to make this a long one, let's just crack right into it. The first suggestion from the chat to show you guys is an Explodey chess piece and what you can do and how you can approach it. And the approaches are pretty straightforward. There are three ways to make an Explodey chess piece. And depending on the market prices in the upcoming 3.14 league, there's going to be quite a few different approaches to it and how you want to decide how to do it. First one is alteration spamming, and the easiest way to do this is going into Craft of Exile. You take the influence mod and then choose Crusader. You choose your base armor. In this case, we're doing a pure Dex version. And then you just click on fossils, and then you click compute best selection, depending on the base, of course. So in this case, we see that we can spend an approximately 120 jagged fossils, which is a 63.366% confidence rate. So it can take less, it can take more. It's about the same cost with the 3 socket resonators, dense jagged pristine. An aberrant jagged pristine is 40 tries. So you can see the average cost of the current market price, but this will obviously change with the upcoming leagues. We'll see what it actually is going to cost us. However, if you then go into an int base and you do the same thing here, you'll see that the difference is quite big. So in this case, it's going to take 145 instead, because different modifiers that can roll. Now, astral plates are really popular. So if you go to strength, for example, it should be 120. As you can see, 120 again. So just make sure you check the correct base before you do this. The other approach is alteration spamming. Alteration spamming is very straightforward. If you look at alts on a strength base, you can see that it's going to take an average of 500k as in the current market price, which is about 1700 alterations. Now, if you change this to, say, dex base, it should be about the same. But if you take a hybrid piece, let's say armor energy shield as an example, it's going to take you a lot more. So just keep in mind that the base matters. Strength dexterity is 1700. So strength and dex are fine, but as soon as you include energy shield into this, it's going to cost you more to craft. Like a pure energy shield base is going to take 2.5k alterations instead, at which point the fossils should be a better approach to it. So that's basically how you can determine the cost of these things. Jagged is going to take 145, so it's always going to be more expensive than anything that has energy shield, but the evasion armor bases will be somewhat easy to do with these crafts. Now, we're going to show you how to do this on a body armor with the harvest tuning. Now, there's a few things with harvest tuning that has been a bit of a topic on this stream, and that is if we are able to use certain harvest crafts and influence items, or if we're only able to use influence crafts from harvest on the influence items. So that's a bit of a topic because the way they expressed themselves in the Harvest-Nerf post gave us the idea that it could be interpreted both ways. Either we can only use remove non-influence, add influence, or we can only use augment influence on influence items, or we can use everything except for augment specific crafts, which is what I'm assuming we can, but without having that confirmed, I sent a message to Viper and haven't received a response yet. So I'm going to show you how to do it, assuming that we can use the other crafts on it, except for the influence. So in this case, we're going to take a pure evasion-based armor and put a Crusader influence on it. The first thing you want to do is you want to hit physical type mods. We have the normal base mods, and we have the Crusader base mods. We want the Explodey, which is a fist tag, but to make this happen, we want to hit the physical damage taken as lightning, as well as the reflect modifiers. The best way to do this is most likely jagged fossils. So basically, you'll be spamming this till you hit the modifiers. So that's basically what you're going to do. So once you've hit the modifiers, and I'm going to show them like this. So first we have reflect fist, done, and we have physical taken as lightning, done. So once you have these two modifiers, there's a very important that you have an open prefix and an open suffix slot. The reason for this is very simple. By the way, for those of you who don't know about open prefixes and suffix slots, I will have a link in the description below for basic 101 crafting to learn how crafting works and affixes, explicits, implicits, suffixes, and prefixes. Everything that you'll need to learn so that you can use this video to know and understand and learn how to do these things. That video will be in the description. Assuming you've watched that and know what to do, you want to have an open prefix and an open suffix. The reason for this is because you need to have an open prefix to hit the explodey prefix, and you need an open suffix because we're going to use metacrafting. Metacrafting is a bench craft called the suffixes can't be changed, multi-craft, prefix can't be changed, can't roll attack, can't roll caster. Those are called metacrafts. They're very expensive. In this case, we're going to put prefixes can't be changed. This costs 2 exalteds to do. So what you want to do with a prefix can't be changed is this is a suffix craft. That's why we need an open suffix. The reason we need an open prefix is so that we can hit the explodey. This modifier straight up makes it so that the modifiers that are prefixes that exist on the item cannot be re-rolled. In this case, we have the reflect fist, we have the fist damage taken as lightning. They cannot be re-rolled now. But there's an open prefix, but what we're going to do is a harvest craft with re-roll physicals. We're going to reforge the item, including a modifier being a physical modifier. So what this is going to do is going to reforge the entire item, but the meta benchcraft is preventing the 2 already existing prefixes to not be re-rolled. And since they cannot be re-rolled, and you're adding a physical modifier this way, we're actually guaranteeing a exploding mod. So by doing this, we get an exploding mod. Now, in this case, that was actually not too shabby. In this case, we don't have any life roll, right? So now we have the prefix open for, we have the prefix sorted with the explodey, but the only way to move from this to making sure we have a life roll are 2 different ways. We have 3 suffixes, so we can only do one of the 2 methods. If we had a suffix open, we could have used the beastcraft, where we would remove a prefix, add a suffix, which will be 1 out of 3 to brick the item where we lose the exploding mod. Since we have 3 suffixes and we can't move a prefix into a suffix, what we'll then have to do is use an Orb of Annulment. Now, the Orb of Annulment has a 1 in 6 to brick the item, and bricking it means we're going to lose the explodey. So by doing it this way, we now lost the suffix modifier. If we would hit one of the prefixes, we would simply benchcraft our life and then use the harvest craft, reforging, keeping prefixes till we're happy with the suffix crafts. However, if this happens, now we can use another annulment, but it's not really worth it. Instead, we will then do the beastcraft with removing a prefix, adding a suffix. Now, this craft will have 1 out of 3 to remove the exploding, in which case we'll have to redo the entire process. Or we have 2 out of 3 to hit any of the other mods. So by doing this, we now lost the exploding. We would have to restart the entire process. So what would happen if we hit the correct one? In this case, we would just benchcraft the life mod, and then we would just reforge keeping prefixes till we're happy with the suffixes. So this is how you do the harvest crafting to deterministically hit exploding. Now, this is a method that works on some items. I know Cicerone mentioned this couple in one of his videos with the Chaos Amulets, for example, which is a really good way to do it. I believe he mentioned this specific craft as well. But these are the 3 ways you can craft exploded chests. Now, obviously, this prevents us from having a comfortable state of doing something else with the prefixes. Obviously, at this point, you could use the Maven Orb to try a Maven Orb and elevate the exploding mod, but you can do whatever you want at this point. But this is how you craft a chest piece with explodey and a life craft on it. And that is basically the only thing you can do. And after this, you would reforge keeping prefixes to fine-tune the suffixes to the point where you're happy with them. The other 2 methods, like I mentioned, is fossil crafting, and the third one is then alterations crafting. So this is how you craft an exploded chest piece with the upcoming Harvest-Nerfs. The way we did this before Harvest was a thing, this was completely removed from the game. So this is the only way we crafted exploding mods on chest pieces. In some cases, it was actually cheaper and more reliable for us to use more fossils than just 1 jagged fossil, depending on the base. But it kind of depends on the prices of everything. But this is how you craft the exploded chest. If you like these type of explanation videos of direct examples, let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know what kind of item you want me to show how to craft without harvest. And another quick note before ending this video, I will be making a lot of crafting videos, as I've always have been, before harvest and after harvest and during harvest, it doesn't matter. Now with these nerfs, I'll be making even more, and as you guys have noticed, I have moved all my guides over to PoE Vault's website, which is owned by Icy Veins. I will be continuing to make these crafting videos, including written versions of the crafting guides. So there will be written versions coming up for all my crafting guides that I will post in the upcoming 3.14 week. So hope you guys will have use of that. All the links are in the descriptions below. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content. Until next time, stay safe, and keep slamming things while having your eyes closed.